Hey everybody, it's Chrissy Key Rollins here. I am so excited to be invited to share with you today. I'm going to give just a couple of minutes, let the live kick in good, see if anybody wants to join us. And then we're going to get started on a conversation about being human and what it takes to survive this crazy roller coaster ride of 2020 that we're on and where it's taking us to, what's needed for that next level in this new world that we have found ourselves thrown into and that's opening up before us every single day. So I'm going to settle in here just a moment. I've got some oracle cards on deck. I'll probably draw one of these. I already felt the nudge to do so, and we'll get started. So hang with me just a moment. And I don't even know if I can tell when people join live. So if you're watching this, welcome. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for tuning back in. Give us just a moment. Just going to see if anybody else hops on here. And I'm going to give these cards a quick little shuffle. Okay, so the message that's on my heart today, as I mentioned, is about this process of being human. What does it mean to be human in 2020? What's being asked of us? Where are we going from here? And I'm here to share that what is required of you right now, this time, is remembering who you are. What's being asked of you is to connect more deeply to your truth, get in touch with it, find out what it is, what it's not. And anywhere that you're not living it out loud in your life, you're going to become wildly uncomfortable. So think of 2020 like a great clarifier, here to shake you up in all the places that you need healing and reconciliation and just a reminder of a bigger truth of who you are and what you are here for. And for most of us that are part of this conversation, what you are not here for, which is to save the world. You're not. You're just here to save yourself. So up until now, you've likely been in survival mode and getting by day after day after day by reacting to what life's been throwing your way. And this will get you so far, as I'm sure you've noticed. You're still alive. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. 100% survival rate so far. However, to get to where it is that you really want to be and to be able to make the most and get the most fulfillment out of this new world that we have found ourselves in. This is a new world. If you have not become aware of that yet, society has changed, and cosmically speaking, we're shifting into a different place in the universe. So a lot of upheaval, unrest, unsettledness, and opportunities for growth and healing are going to be and have been thrown at us left and right throughout 2020. I felt this coming down the pipeline. I had a keen feeling that there were 5 major energy themes that were going to be predominant throughout the year. I can tell you that so far they have 100% played out, and they continue to play out. And what is needed in order to not just get by, but to really thrive in this current climate and in this world that we're continuing to find ourselves in and that we're going to find ourselves in moving forward, is it involves an evolution. It requires an evolution, an up leveling of who you are. Now, this isn't a you're not high vibing enough yet conversation. This isn't a you're not enough conversation. In fact, this is like the very opposite of that. This is a conversation about how very enough you are and how you don't need to evolve as much as your perspective and how you have been interacting with this world. And up until now, you've probably been taking it pretty personal, because it feels personal when people attack you. It feels personal when your debt collectors don't work with you. Just trying to hit on some hot topics of what is going on right now, because we, at the time of this live stream, we are sitting in an economy that is being suppressed. We are experiencing fears and judgments being thrown at us left and right. It's happening in the media. It's happening in our personal relationships. It's definitely happening on social media. I've seen this quite a bit, even just today. So all of this fighting, even if you're fighting for good, is going to get you stuck in this perpetual cycle of continuing the same frustrations and angst. And you're also going to hit a point where you're going to realize there are some things that lie outside of your control. And you didn't come here to show up in a certain way and move in a certain way and talk in a certain way and then magically be able to control all the circumstances that are happening around you. If you believe that myth that goes along with the law of attraction and this whole idea of abundance and ascension, yes, there is these things that are happening in the world, but not quite the way that they've been presented to us. So you're not going to hit a point where you get everything orderly lined up just so. You're going to hit a point where you have no choice but to surrender. And what I'm here to share with you today, I hope, it is my intention, that it helps to make the surrender experience a little bit more clear, practical, tangible, and one that you're willing to embrace and can relax into, instead of one that you have to be fearful of or find overwhelming. That's me. I find life to be extremely overwhelming. I talk about that often. So my intention is to help to let this process be less overwhelming for you. And how do we get through this this up leveling, this expansion? Now, I do it through a 12-step process that I call holistic restoration. It's what I've built my business around, and it's a process that I take people through. If it's something that you're interested in, stick around. I'll mention just a little bit more about that at the end of this recording, how you can get plugged into it. This idea of holistic restoration, it begins with the process of expanding and evolving your perspective of yourself and the world around you. And with that expansion, with that evolution, comes a need, a necessity, and an ability to go beyond your 5 basic human senses of what you see, witness, hear, experience in this world based on those outward observations. And I'm also writing about this right now currently in a book that I'm working on abundance and shifting into your abundance. And the same conversation, the same perspective is very helpful if you're working to increase what you are receiving, to increase your flow, and to tap in more fully into the abundance that's at your fingertips. So this idea of going beyond your 5 senses means that you can't solely rely on what you see and what you hear. In fact, what you see and what you hear is getting filtered through your perspective and your past experiences. So what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're witnessing unfold in front of you today is actually a reflection of the past, because you will only see it, hear it, experience it based on your past experiences up to this point, until you begin to evolve and expand into this bigger perspective that I'm inviting you to step into. So what goes beyond the 5 senses, when you start to move into that, then you can use your 5 senses as a tool, as a gauge, a measuring device, as to not how the other rascals are wrong and how they need to change and how the whole world's falling apart, but instead you can start to connect what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're experiencing in this world with the part that is personal. Because the part that's not personal is what's happening in the world around you. The part that's not personal is what anybody is saying or doing to you, directly or otherwise. What is happening in the world, the economy didn't shut down because of you or just to spite you. People aren't in upheavals and uproars because of you and what you said. If you start to tap into this unseen, behind the scene, and you start to use your eyes and your ears, not as the end all be all truth of the experience, but more tool to help you to tap into what you believe subconsciously is the truth about the experience, not just what this thing tells you. What this thing tells you is just the starting point. It's a starting point that can start to lead you into a deeper understanding as to why this thing is saying what it's saying, why it's witnessing that person. I was just writing this in my book, so sorry to spoiler alert, y'all, but it is the thing that will have you witness somebody not holding the door for you and deciding that it's because they're rude and inconsiderate, or watching somebody not hold the door open for you, and your ability to recognize that perhaps there's something going on internally that is stopping that person from being aware that you were even there in the first place. Not because you're not because you're invisible, not because everybody overlooks you, but simply because sometimes we have internal stuff going on and hurts and pains and distractions that are happening inside of us that have nothing to do with the people that are around us. And when we don't know that we have that going on, we can be irresponsible with our energy. When you don't realize that you have that going on, you are far more likely to be irresponsible with your energy. When you see someone being irresponsible with their energy, then that's a good sign that they have something else that's going on underneath the surface that is not personal and doesn't have anything to do with you. So, this idea of what lies under the surface of somebody else's experience is where we get to tap into a deeper level of empathy for other people. And instead, we can, instead of reacting to whatever it is that we're seeing or we're witnessing, and however we're interpreting it, remember, not based on this stranger that you don't know that didn't hold the door open for you, but when you witness someone not holding the door, your mind goes back to all the past times and experiences and explanations and reasons that you've ever come across. And whatever spot you land on is going to determine what kind of experience you have in that moment. And when I talk about responsibility with energy, someone's being irresponsible, or if you're being irresponsible with it, we can think of energy. A great way to start to really tap into and understand energy is to look at our emotions. Emotions are energy, E, in motion, emotion. So when you see someone's emotions not match what you know to be true about yourself or the other person, or you feel your own emotions start to pull you in one direction or another, that is where we begin to tap into not just what we see, not just what we hear, not just what we think is happening out there in the world, but it will help us to see why we are interpreting life how we are. Because in the areas that you are harboring a limited truth about yourself, about this other person, about the world around you, is the very place that you need to look to heal and to reconcile back to your truth and this bigger truth of what is making all of this happen. And now that can look just as individual as we look individual. However, there's still a common currency that you tap into when you start to look at things from this perspective. So when you see someone be irresponsible with their energy, for example, being sloppy with their emotions, being bullying or attacking or apathetic or dismissive, pause in that moment and pay attention to how you are interpreting that person's actions and what it's bringing up inside of you. Because what they are doing, even if they're doing it directly to you, is not personal to you. What anyone is doing, just like anything that you are doing at any given time, is dependent on the energy and the emotions that someone's holding inside of themselves. And if we have healed emotionally, if we have matured emotionally, if we have found a balance internally emotionally, we're going to have a much more even keel, much more ability to hold space, much more likely to jump to best case scenario interpretation as to why things are happening or why people are doing what they're doing, versus a default reactive limited one that has anything to do with you not having the life experience that you signed up for. So if you feel like 2020 is a bunch of you know what that you didn't sign up for, I'm here to say actually you did. You did sign up for it. You agreed to go through this experience called life during this particular time. And if you can shift or allow yourself to even just open the door of make believe and to explore the land of what if for a little bit, one of my favorite lands to explore, then you can start to say, what if this thing that is happening is not something that's personal? What if, even though they're putting a finger in my face and saying, you do this all the time, it's all your fault, you, what if you don't have to defend yourself? What if you don't have to stake your claim? What if you don't have to give voice to your perspective to gain validation? What if all of that is really something that the ego is looking to have satisfied and not something that is necessary for your evolution and for your satisfaction and for your fulfillment? And in fact, the reason that it's nudging you, it's agitating you, it's stepping forward in this precise moment is because it's the very next thing that your intuition is bringing up for you to look at, to heal, to reconcile more completely to your truth of who you are and what is happening in this world around you. What if? It's worth the exploration. I assure you it is worth the exploration. So what others do is not personal. How it affects you is, what story are you telling yourself about yourself or this other person or the world as a whole due to how you witnessed, interpreted, and experienced life's unfolding before you? That is like a treasure map. A treasure map leading you to the very thing that will set you free, which is only found in here, not out here. Sorry, at least I haven't found it out there. And when you stop to think about it, everything that I just said really lines up with a lot of major religious beliefs. So you can see how, again, we're tapping into this currency flow that, again, I believe is worth your exploration. So now that you're aware that there's things happening beyond these senses, now that you're aware that it's not personal, now that you're aware that, oh, I'm being agitated by this person's post or reaction or lack thereof because of something I have unresolved within myself, something that I need to reconcile within myself, a place of healing that is stepping forward. I like to think of, I'm a holistic practitioner, by the way. I didn't even tell you who I am or what I'm about at all. I just kind of dove right into it. So I'm a holistic wellness practitioner. I have had my practice for 14 years this December. So in about 3 months, I'll be celebrating my 14th year in business, completely self-employed. And I started out as a massage therapist, pretty much quickly realized that people needed more than just a good massage in order to have health, well-being, and balance. And over my time of working with people physically and helping them emotionally and spiritually make shifts and changes, I noticed this full circle, this true holistic alignment that happens, and this immense healing that can happen when you don't just address what's happening physical. Now, I do this with massage clients. I'm sitting here in my healing room, so I'm pointing over to my table. I do this physically with people when I get my hands on them. I incorporate energy work. I also help to bring in what emotions are under play, what kind of evidence the body's bringing forth as to the healing that's underway, and why is it showing up in this area? What does that mean to help you to connect not just with what issue you got with your tissue, but what issue might be lying in the subconscious and in the emotional energy body so that we can allow that to be balanced and cleared as well. So not only do I do this physically with clients here on my table, but I also do this with other business owners. Because what I found is that when we are out of balance, so is our business. And we are amazing at the things that we're amazing at, but we're not all cut out for business, or are we? Is business actually a natural side effect and a birthright for being human on this planet? I have an argument that it is, and if you ever want to explore that, reach out. We can totally talk further. But through helping people physically, emotionally, and through their outward expression of themselves, which often looks like a business or starting of a business, a service that's monetized to help other people, I have found these congruencies lying underneath the surface. You stumble and have shortcomings and not enough experience, not enoughness experiences, the experience of being not enough in your business endeavors when you have this out of balance in your own personal energy field. So many of us who have a desire in our heart to make a difference in the lives of others, who have a desire in our heart to pay our mortgage and our bills and everything else to keep us sustaining in life, when we find ourselves stuck in patterns and rhythms of procrastination and self-doubt and overwhelm, it will keep us from having the fullest experience that we came here to have with individuals, with ourselves, with our health, with our body. And when we shift, or what I have found for myself to be true, is that when we start to shift and align how we are handling things internally, that shift in balance and alignment on the internal manifests on the external as well. So instead of trying to force and change and manipulate and line everything up just so here in the physical world, which again is just a display of leftover residue from the past. So we're never even dealing with the now, as much as we are dealing with the past, showing itself in physical form here in the now, then we can begin to, I believe, navigate life in a more authentic and aligned way. And when we step into that place, what we are being invited to do and what is the precursor, like the threshold, is that the right word? The threshold, like the doorway of which we cross into this new world, what is needed, what is required, what is asked of us to continue to feel fulfilled and thriving and moving forward in this new world. It requires us to come back here in the now, in the present moment, and approach life from a different perspective. So the reason that I brought up the healing practice is because as a holistic healing practitioner, I carry the belief that if we are experiencing it on the physical level, that is actually the last level that energy takes. So we can, I use this example quite a bit. You can take the idea of being hungry and wanting a pizza for dinner. Just because you had the thought of a pizza doesn't make a pizza manifest right in your hand. No, the thought of the pizza, the belief that the pizza is obtainable, is what causes you to take on a series of events that leads to the inevitable pizza having. So it's not just a matter of having the thought, having the idea, and just because it doesn't instantly manifest doesn't mean that it's not coming. It just means you're in the space, in that waiting period of waiting for that energy to take physical form before you. Once it takes physical form before you, it's actually the past, making itself known in physical form in front of you. Interesting, right? Or at least worth a consideration to experiment with life to see what outcomes and experiences you have if you've not tried this before. So when something takes physical form, to me, it tells me that it's on its last way of being cleared out of this energy field, because that's the way it happens, right? Conception, realization, birthing forth, and then the expiration and moving on. That's the physical experience. So moving forward, now that you realize, oh, 2020 is not out to get me, it's actually out to invite me on this continual healing journey. And it's not personal. People aren't personally attacking me. Life isn't falling down around me. This isn't a woe is me situation. In fact, this is a situation in which you are being extended the invitation to decide, are you a victim of your circumstances, or are you an empowered human being in witness to life as it unfolds before your eyes, which is again the past, pretending to be the present. Yeah, you see why? You see why all this stuff, it's conflicting to the mind. We have a hard time catching on because we like to stick things in its proper spreadsheet. But where we're going is beyond this 3D world. It's even beyond the 4D world, because the 4D world still says I'm right and you're wrong. There's a better way to be and there's a wrong way to be. The 5D world and beyond, this ascension, the true ascension that this group's all about, that we're talking about going through together, it moves beyond right and wrong. It moves into a place beyond the five senses. It moves into a place of wholeness. And we cannot have wholeness without the contrast and without the conflict. It's not possible. It's not. So where we're going to is a place where there's room for you and there's room for everybody else as well. So you don't have to fight so hard. You don't have to defend yourself. I'm going to do a whole video. Y'all follow me over on social media. Connect with me through the Conscious Success community here on Facebook. But I'm going to be putting out a video on the difference, the fine line between defending yourself and explaining yourself, because there's a very fine line, and a lot of us, amazing, good-hearted, well-intended, big feeling individuals, really need to learn this, because we're getting exhausted running around trying to fix everybody and save everything, when right now we're supposed to be focusing on ourselves, not because there's anything to fix, because you're perfect. You are. I know we're just meeting, but I know these things. You're perfect. Divine perfection, or else you wouldn't be here, my belief. So it's not a matter of fixing things. In fact, that's one of the major energy themes that I speak to coming through for 2020, is that we're not here to fix anything, not even ourselves. So you can stop trying to evolve and ascend. You can stop trying to get all your friends and family and neighbors to do the same thing, and you can settle into the exploration of what comes up inside of you. And as it comes forward, right? It's in physical form or closer to it because you're feeling it come up. Those feelings that come up, I define them as symptoms of what has already been healed. It's showing us the remnants of the clearing that has already taken place. Why not? We get to make these things up. We get to define these things. That's part of our power. It's one of our most amazing strengths as humans. We have the power of choice to decide and define what life means and who we are as part of it. So why not just start defining it in a more empowered way? Either a victim of your circumstances or an empowered person in witness to the healing that is already underway, that is already inevitable, that is leading us to our inevitable destiny, which is the beautiful spot that you desire in your heart, even if it doesn't look like it on the outside, because this experience that you desire in your heart, it's an inside job. So this is where it begins, this is where it ends, this is where the magic happens internally. So it's not personal. You're more than what you realize. And all of this is happening for your inevitable healing and reconciliation, and to get more deeply connected to the truth of who you are and what is happening around you. And if this is in a journey that you'd like to explore further, I have a couple invitations for you. One, you can join me this Saturday, which is October the 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be joining a podcast called Plant a Seed that's on IBM TV. I'll post a link just as soon as I have it. I'll post a link under this, and I'll definitely post it in my Facebook group. Follow me on social media, where we're going to be having the same conversation, except for an hour at least. And we're going to be diving in more specifically. I'm going to talk more about what got us into this mess, what got us to this point, and what's required to get us to where it is that we're going. So if you want a little bit more of the origin story of what the human experience has brought to us to lead us to this point, and you want to explore further about what that means and where you can go from there, join me on the Plant a Seed podcast on IBM TV this Saturday, October the 3rd at 12 p.m. Also, I can invite you to join me on an Awaken Intuition series. It's a workshop series that is happening monthly. It's on the second Saturday each month. So the next one is scheduled for Saturday, October the 10th. Takes place at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join that live if you're here local. You can come and meet in person. We meet at a gal's house in Raleigh, North Carolina. And if you're at a distance, I live stream it so you can join us virtually. And what we're doing each month, this is the third time that we're meeting, is we're exploring a different way to get more in touch with your intuition, to better understand what your intuition is, how you hone it, how you connect to it, how you understand it, what it is, what it's not, how to work with it. And I'm introducing it through a series of different modalities that help you to explore it. So this coming up session will be all about healing crystals and gemstones, what they are, how you can work with them, how they work, and how you can use them to play around with and deepen your connection to your intuition and use them to align with your intuitive guidance to help you to move forward. In November, I think we're talking astrology. So just the basic introduction to astrology, how to work with it, what the basic meanings are so that you can begin to tap into better understanding yourself and the other humans that you're on this planet with. So a really great series. Would love for you to join. I'll make sure that there's links for that as well. And another place that we can connect, I would love to invite you over to my Patreon page. You can go to patreon.com/CK Rollins, Rollins. I'll drop a link below. There you will find the opportunity to become a supporter and support these messages that I bring out to the world, as well as tap into some exclusive patron only content, as well as a discount code that you can use in the Holistic Restoration Etsy shop, which is an amazing online shop that we created as a family, and we are pouring our love and good energy into creating some items that promote healing, thoughtfulness, mindfulness. I have some hanging right up here, some beautiful wind chime sun catcher you can see the very tips of, but you can check that out. You get a discount to that by becoming a supporter, so you can support what we're creating in the shop. You can support these messages that are going out there, and again, access exclusive content. And there's also a level for those that are curious. If you want to dive in a little bit deeper, you get access to all of that. And then you also get access to a monthly energy update that I do once a month, the first Wednesday of every month. You can join that session live, definitely catch the replay. And you also get included in that the Awakened Intuition series. So you get access to the past videos, you get access to the upcoming classes, as long as you are at that curious level of Patreon supportiveness. And then I have a third level for those that are committed. So those that really want to dive in deep, fully get yourself saturated, you get access to all of that, plus the best courses that I have put out so far in with my business. So I have a empathic healers course that you'll receive, self-love, intuition course, all of these really great courses that will help you to do these levels of holistic restoration. And you will also at that level be able to access the 2020 Holistic Healing Circle, which is 9 months underway, but you get access to all of the content that's gone on. And every month we explore a different level of holistic restoration. This last month, the focus was on flow, and everything up to this point has built to being able to relax more deeply into your flow and allow more flow in your life. So just a few ways that you can connect further. If this conversation is one that you'd love to continue, I would love to continue it with you, and I keep it going all the time. So just plug into it. So before I step away, I told you those mermaids were calling. So I'm going to pull a card. I've got the deck right here. I already gave them a little intentional shuffle, and I'm going to see what message the mermaids have for us today. And if there are people commenting on this, just know I can't see it. So I don't know how to access it. I appreciate you being here. And yeah, I hope you're loving this. If you're watching the replay, give me some feedback. Let me know your thoughts. Share your heart with me too. All right, what do these gorgeous mermaids have for us today? Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is one of my absolute favorite cards in the deck. And by the way, if you like oracle cards, if you like playing with this, definitely join me over the Conscious Success community. I do a couple of oracle card draws every month. They're wonderful. I love them. But the card that came through for us, the message that's on the mermaid's heart to share with everybody watching this broadcast, is card number 42 for you numerology lovers out there. And it is the wave of power. The message on the card is a surge of power, upswing in energy, exhilarating movement. I can concur that that is exactly cosmically, energetically what is happening right now at the time of this recording. I feel like we're going under, we're like in a pendulum swing, where things are going to get exacerbated so that we can see what out of balance is, so that we can see what balance is not, so that we can learn where to settle into our balance. And I'll probably be doing an energy update soon, talking about Libra season and all that greatness over on my Facebook page too, Holistic Restoration Facebook page. You can find me there too. I'm all over the place. Okay, so the wave of power, as you can see, this mermaid, she has no concerns. Her back is turned to the ocean. Those waves are pummeling her from behind, but what is she doing? She is head to the sky, heart open, arms behind her. Hey, Joe, I see comments now. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed this. So as you can see, she has no concerns. Her head is upwards to the sky. She is facing the heavens above. She has her tail up, as you can see, and but her defenses are down. Her arms are behind her. She doesn't need to fight. She doesn't need to attack. She doesn't need to swim away. She doesn't need to watch out for the ocean that's behind her. Are you kidding me? This is a wave of power. And when this card comes forward, what it tells you, I'm already getting the chills. What it tells you is that there are waves in life. And there are waves of opportunity. And there are times where you stand on the shore and you watch those waves go by. You watch those waves go by. And there are times where you brave the dauntingness of those waves and you dive straight in. I'm starting to get emotional. So I'm trusting fully that this message is going out there to somebody. Don't know if it's you, Jeff. Don't know if it's you, but I know that this is a very timely message and one that's really needed, and that's one of the ways that the universe talks to me when I'm tapping into a really deep truth. I get my internal waters rising to the surface, which looks like I'm going to cry, but strangely don't have the emotional attachment to the crying itself. So just feeling those waters rise as I talk about this. There are some waves that pass you by, and there might have been many There might have been many, many opportunity waves that have passed you by. I know that I can judge my own path and see plenty of times that I just let waves pass me by left and right, but I was too scared to dive into that ocean because I was worried that I would get spit up on the shore, that I would get sucked under the undertow, that I would be flipped upside down, that I wouldn't know which way is up. And I was quite frankly scared to do it. When this card comes forward, this says dive in, baby. Dive in. But don't fight, don't struggle, don't force your way. You dive into that wave and you align yourself fully with the motion of the ocean, because that ocean is here to carry you. It is here to help to set you free. It is here to help to empower you. So we can think about the, waves on a beach. We can think about the waves of opportunity in our life that are obvious, like a job opportunity or a relationship opportunity or a living situation opportunity. Those are easy to relate to. The wave of power that I feel that this card is coming forward to talk about are those waves that I just spoke about, those energetic waves, those waves of emotion, those waves of overwhelm, those waves of misinterpreting other people to the point that you find yourself off kilter. When that happens, don't just let it go by. If you can remember anything that I've said during this discussion, and in those moments, just remember, this is the past playing itself out in front of you. This is an opportunity to reconcile to a deeper truth within you. If you can have one of those memories, if you can make one of those connections to something that I said, if you can just remember to come back to the here and now, because this is where the magic happens, baby. In those moments, if you can do that, if you can connect to that thought and you can challenge yourself to show up in that moment like you never have before, even if how you're showing up looks the same but sounds different, because this time you're saying, this time it's different, because I've never gone through it saying this right now. Even if that's all that changes, you will set your life into a different course of events and actions because you are daring to show up how you never have before. And all of life is ready for you. And you are going to be sent these waves of power. They look daunting. They look like they can take you down. They look like they can pull you under. I assure you, they are made of the very same energy that you are made of. And when you dive in and you allow yourself to align fully with the power of the ocean, it will take you as far as you are destined to go. It will take you as far as you're destined to go. You don't have to do all the work. In fact, that's why you're tired. Stop doing all the heavy lifting. Stop thinking that you're not able to have this thing that you see in your world. Stop thinking that it's something different than what you already are. And allow yourself to step into the wholeness of who you are, the wholeness of this life opportunity. Stop taking it personal. Be different than you've ever been. And you will find yourself experiencing life different than it's ever been for you. And again, I thank you. I honor you for being on this journey. This is not easy. Doing the work, it's a challenge. It is a challenge. And it's even more challenging because not everybody else is doing the work too. Wouldn't it be nice if they would? Wouldn't it be nice if everyone in your world just signed up for all the courses that you signed up for and got all the revelations that you got? But that's not how this works, because this is an inside job. We're not going to find our fulfillment externally. 2020 is making sure that you are fully aware of that. It's an inside job. Start there, connect there. Ask yourself, what's up next to be healed? Is this my next opportunity for a deeper level of healing, of connectingness, of reconciling, of living into the bigger picture that I believe to the core of my being is actually happening in this world? The mermaids think you are. And they're going to be sending you waves of opportunity that you can step right into that will carry you to where you need to go. All right. I think I covered all my bases, and I'm coming up on 40 minutes, which just feels like ample time. So I appreciate you. I love you. I honor you. I thank you, Joe, for being here and for chiming in the comments. It means a lot to me, and for everybody who's watching this in replay. So I'll drop some links below, and I want to know, how does this land for you? Even if you don't like anything that I said, bring it to the table. It might be an opportunity for us both to do some deeper healing and reconciling together, and I welcome that opportunity. I appreciate you for being here. If I can do anything to support your journey moving forward, definitely reach out. Find me at holisticrestoration.com. You can find me under Holistic Restoration business page on Facebook. You can check me out in the Conscious Success community here on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram under Keys 2E's, Keys, the number 2EASE. And check me over on Patreon, CK Rollins, patreon.com/CK Rollins. Would love to connect with you further, would love to have your support. And if you're curious or committed, I'd love to help to support your journey moving forward. So look forward to your feedback, and I appreciate you. Have a wonderful, blessed evening. Bye, y'all.